If you're a van lifer, a weekend warrior, or somebody who just likes to have a little extra juice no matter where you are, then today's video is for you. We're going to be talking about this product right here, the AllPowers R600 portable power station. Is it safe? Is it useful? Is it a good value? We'll find out all that and more in today's video. All right, now that you've seen all the beautiful shots up close, we're gonna go over what the AllPowers R600 portable power station can actually do and why it would be useful for you. Because I truly think it is. I'll be up front in saying I think this is a useful type and form factor for this category. There are a lot of different small power banks that I've found really useless because they just don't last long enough. They don't provide enough incentive to carry them around. And I even have some large power banks that could power most of my house for an hour or two. But this kind of middle of the road size, something that is just 12 pounds that you could pick up with one hand and take with you almost anywhere, that could recharge in just a few hours, but also could do a lot on the back end, is really interesting. So I think the first thing we should talk about is safety, because there's a lot of safety concerns around lithium batteries and possible fires or hazards they could create. Trust that this is a LiFePO4 lithium battery, which means it's puncture resistant. It's got a higher tolerance for heat, for discharge, for partial charge, for all those things. So not only does it last longer, but it's safer than other types of lithium batteries. So that's at the core. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about those things because I'm not an expert in them, but I did some reading on the LiFePO4 batteries. I've seen them in RVs and things like that. This is the safest type of lithium battery I believe that is out there. So know that it's safe and durable at its core. I think that's really important. All right, so to start off with the baseline features of the R600, it's called the R600 because it has a maximum continuous output of 600 watts with a surge of up to 1200 watts. That's a really good rating. Like I said in the intro, there are other power banks like this, inverters, that have 400, 500, 600 watts that cost a lot more. So for the price range that this is at, depending on whether you get it on sale or regular price, somewhere between $300 and $400, it's a really, really good value for the type of battery it is and the wattage output that it gives you. So on the front of the power station, we have two 120 volt standard plugs. Then above those, you'll have a 12 volt plug. And on the right hand side, you have 4 USB inputs. There are 2 that are USB-C and 2 that are standard USB-A. Right up front, you've got a digital screen. It not only tells you what kind of power you have left in the bank, a percentage, but it also tells you how long, based on your usage, that should last. And it also gives you a specific meter for input and output wattage. So if you're plugging things in, you know how many watts you're using and how long that juice is going to last. And you can kind of temper your use for how long you need this to go. And then on the inverse, when you're charging via either solar or a wall outlet, we'll talk about that a little bit later. It tells you how much juice you're getting, so how long it's going to take you to charge and recharge fully. So I really like this digital display. In fact, AllPowers even has an app that you can hook your power bank up to via Bluetooth, and it gives you all this same information, and not only just the same information, but remote control of each section of the power bank. So you can turn on and off 120 volt outlets. You can turn on and off the USB outlets. You can turn on and off this little light right here. There is a button right here next to the power that gives you a quick access in case you're outside camping and need just kind of a little bit of light to plug something in or whatever. There's a couple different brightness settings along with a flash SOS setting. So if we look here on the side, we'll see the charging ports. There's a flip up lid to kind of protect these from dust. On one side, you have AC charging cord input. Then on the other side, you have a solar charging input. And in the middle, you have a built-in breaker and a reset button. It also has a built-in wireless charger on top of the device. Really cool, up to 15 watts fast charging. All you have to do is make sure your zone is turned on there, throw your headphones or your phone right on top, and bing, bang, boom, it begins charging. It's really nice if you need a quick charge. I know this is really big to carry around for a phone charger, but if you're charging multiple devices and you don't want another cord out there, just throw your phone on top, throw your headphones or your wirelessly enabled charging devices on top, and it'll charge them for you up to 15 watts of output. And because of the quality of the R600, AllPowers is giving you a 5-year warranty. In fact, it's rated for up to 3,500 plus recharges. That's a lot, and a lot of life going to be in this small little power bank. If you're ready to pick up an R600 for yourself, I'm going to leave the link in the video description down below. No, this isn't a sponsored video, but if you use that link, it does help to support the channel. And if you buy the solar package with the R600, you're gonna get these solar panels with it. This is kind of the panel in a bag itself. It's a pretty cool bag. It's got built-in legs, it's got Velcro, it's got everything you might need. And unlike other portable solar panels I've seen, these actually have legs that come out, which is really nice because you don't have to lean it up against something or lay it flat on the ground, which can kind of lead to poor solar results. So you can point it toward the sun most directly, angle it almost perfectly at like a 45-degree roughly angle to get the optimum amount of solar you need to recharge yourself. So I threw it out in my driveway on a partially sunny day. And even though it's a 100 watt max panel, I was hovering somewhere between like 47, 45, maybe between 40 and 50 watts of charging, you know, just because of the power of the sun in my area, the clouds in the sky. So realize that it's 100 watts max per panel, but you're not always going to get 100 on a really sunny day with no clouds. You might get 90 to 100 watts. On a partially sunny day, you might average between 40 and 50. But even on solar, with my estimates, you're going to be able to recharge this from 0 to 100 in somewhere between 4 and 6 or 7 hours, depending on your level of sun and the clouds in the sky that day. So now the fun part. I want to put this to the test and show you just how many watts it can handle. I've got a few items we're going to plug in and we're going to test the meter so you can see exactly how much each item is drawing and get some estimates on that. And then we're going to see if we can push it to its limits, see if it actually does handle 600 watts and what happens if you go over the 600 watt limit for this item to make sure that it's safe. And to do that, we're going to start with my MacBook Pro here. That's a pretty standard application for somebody who might live in a van or be traveling or camping for a weekend to maybe get a little extra juice on their laptop if they're doing intermittent work away from the grid and you just need a little extra juice. Well, on the far side of this, we've got 2 USB-Cs and 2 traditional USBs. So we're simply going to plug this into the USB-C input, make sure our section is on. We are going to then plug it in to the correct side of the MacBook. We're charging here. And we look at our output. All right, it says that we're outputting somewhere between 7, 8, 10, 12 watts of power on this. And it says that I've got about 13 days of juice remaining if that's my only draw. All right, let's step it up to the big leagues from a standard ordinary electrical item to something that's a little less ordinary, a hairdryer. It's power hungry, it has a heating element in it. How many watts is it gonna pull, and is the R600 gonna be able to handle at least 600 watts? Well, let's find out. Let's plug it in to the standard 120 volt plug. Make sure that section is on, okay? We're at zeros. I'm gonna start low. This is low on cool. It's drawing 275 watts of power. So I'm gonna go up to warm. That should heat it up and make it a little more. Yeah, now we're pulling 452, 53 watts. So now I'm gonna go from warm to hot. That should get us over 600. Yeah, now we're right at 583 watts. That's pretty much right at 600. That's as close as I thought we would get. So now let's try to push it from low to high, see if we get up over 600 watts and see what happens. Yeah, we're at 800 watts, 850. And there you go. So we got up to about 850 watts for a few seconds before the R600 shut down. That's because it can handle up to 1200 watts of surge, meaning it can take it for just a short moment, but then it's going to shut off for safety reasons. And it actually did really well. It shut completely off. Nothing, didn't even trip the breaker. It just shut off and threw an error code. So in order to kind of reset things, all we have to do is we're going to unplug our device. We're going to turn off the R600 all the way off. Then we're going to just turn it back on, let it reboot, and we should be able to just turn this thing back on low to prove that nothing is damaged and everything is where it should be, and we're right back in business. Oh, got to hit the power button. And we're back in business. So as you can see, this has some safety features built in, but you'll kind of hear it now. When you kick in and get a little bit more wattage running through the R600, there is a fan that's going to cycle on. It's really not too bad. It's an internal fan. It has to cool that battery and keep things going. So you are going to hear the more wattage you're pulling, the more noise you're going to hear from the R600. But that's the case with any battery bank. They've got to keep that battery cool and protected. Now, for those of you that are electricity nerds, which I'm not even sure if that's a thing, but it's important to know that this is a pure sine wave inverter, meaning that your electrical current is going to be comparably smooth to the electrical current coming out of your plugs in your home. There's not a lot of peaks and valleys and juts. It's smoother. Pure sine wave means high quality electrical current. It protects your devices. It's a higher quality. So I think the combo of the Life P04 battery, the pure sine wave inverter, up to 600 watts, continuous output, just really makes this a great value for what it is. So I guess the only question left to ask is, who is this for? Who is it well suited to? Well, like I said in the beginning, I think it's best for people who either are going out for a weekend on just some kind of camping trip out in the wilderness. They need a little bit more juice. They want to have maybe some lights or be able to charge their laptops or their phones or use solar to get a little bit of extra power during the day. You know, maybe they have some kind of little tiny, some kind of creature comforts that they want to take with them. This would do that, but also, if you're doing the van life, if you're living in a van or going on trips in a van and you need a little extra juice, I think it's a really handy way to have a lot of power with you in a small package. Like we said before, 12 pounds on this thing. So I think it's worth checking out. I'm going to leave links in the description down below if you're interested in the AllPowers R600. I think it's an excellent buy. It tests really well. And I think this type of product is something that would make traveling a lot better for many of you out there. So as always, thanks for watching the video. My name is Joel, and this is the Traveler Toolkit. I'll see you in the next one.